Different universities use different criteria to determine if a student is admissible or not. The most common things that universities are going to look for: SAT or ACT scores and your performance in high school as measured by your grades. Essays, they're going to look at recommendations, and they're going to make sure that you filled out their application and turned in your application fee. Those are the 5 things that universities use to base admissions decisions off of. Core 40 in Indiana is very important for students who are applying to a university. So 4 years of English, 3 years of social studies, 3 years of science, and 3 years of math are required for Core 40. And those maths have to be Algebra 2, Algebra 1, and Geometry. Foreign language is often recommended at universities.
We also have an academic honors diploma, and on this diploma, students would take those core classes just like in the Core 40 diploma. However, they would also take at least one additional math class. They would also take at least 3 years of a foreign language, and at that level, a student would have to maintain a certain grade point average. They would have to have a 3.0 overall, and that's on a 4.0 scale.
I would say also take like AP classes. I took a couple, and it really helps you. Like, it gives you some sort of like sense as to like how it's going to be in college, and I would just say to challenge yourself in your classes in high school. That's what really helped me.
You can't prepare if you're just taking the easy courses to make good grades. Work with your high school counselor not only to get in college, but then be successful for college.
ACT and the SAT are college entrance tests, and if a student wants to go to college, they need to take one of those tests. Most schools would accept either one. In order to be able to take these tests, students would have to enroll themselves by either getting online and registering that way, or picking up a packet from their school. They can go to collegeboard.com for the SAT and actstudent.org for the ACT. A student can get a lot of information and practice test questions and so forth by going online, and there's a lot of information on both of those websites that would really be helpful to the student. We really encourage students to take those tests sometime during second semester of their junior year.
I recommend that students take the SAT or ACT at least twice. The reason being, students tend to improve on those scores each time they take that test, and because universities use it as a predictor for how successful a student's going to be.
We like for students to take a practice SAT, the PSAT test, and the ACT has a practice test as well called the PLAN. Sophomores take it, and that is a good way to practice for the SAT. Plus, it's free. Depends on the school whether they offer workshops for the SAT or ACT.
Also, if the university you're applying to requires an essay, make sure that you have somebody look it over for mistakes. Like you put prepositions at the end of a sentence, or just other common grammatical errors. The person who's reviewing that essay is probably just gonna say, oh no, it's another one of these. Another thing that you can do is when you have those recommendations written, if the school that you're applying to requires them, make sure that you have it written by somebody who understands your academic performance. A lot of students will get their coach to write their recommendation. It's just not as strong an application. It's not as strong a recommendation if it comes from a coach instead of from a teacher.
Well, I was part of the student council and Interact and Spanish and French club, so a whole bunch of clubs I was involved in. Now that I started college, I see people that aren't involved in the same things that I was involved in, so, you know, connections. It's kind of like networking.
Cheese! Hello!
Get involved, basically.
Get involved in
and
school.
informed.